What's up, witches? Hey, everybody. Hi, Sam. Hi, Darcy. Mwah. I love you both so much. Who else is here? Who else is here? Check in, say hi. Come on, say hello, hello, hello. It's always interesting to see how much of a buffer there is. Oh, yes, yes. Oh, wait till you hear the decks tonight, Lady Taurus. They're wonderful. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Hi, Silver Spiral. Greetings. Welcome. Thank you, darling. It's because I couldn't make it look any good down. So up it goes. And I'm telling you, I was like fighting the battle of a lifetime to get it straight on top. And it still is. So, you know, what the hell. Oh my goodness, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Taurus season. Happy 420. Hi Jake, welcome. Nice day in Atlanta. Yeah, it was what, mid-50s here today, but lots of sunshine, and compared to yesterday where we had snow coming down in golf balls. And then there was a time in the day where it was just like white out, snowing so hard. It didn't stick though. I mean, we had a little bit that stuck, but it went away pretty quick because then it turned to rain. But it was like snowing, white out, and then all of a sudden sunny. Like we had at least 3 seasons in a day yesterday. Shh, did I see Sherry? Sherry? Hi, Sherry. Hello, darling. Hello, Natalie. Hi, welcome. Yay! Happy Taurus season. The sun went into Taurus last night at 10:20 something in the Eastern time zone. And let's look at, I mean, I don't think I have too much to say today. It's how many people have been cleaning? Like today, I have this urge to just clean. I did, my son did. I called my daughter and asked what they were doing. Oh, we were in the garage breaking down boxes and cleaning stuff out. And it's like, yeah, Taurus season. It's time to take care of our stuff. Okay. Right. I hear you, Jake. Up here, people do forget how to drive from one winter to the next. You know, we have the first snow and it's like nobody remembers. But besides that, and then we have people that just get extremely grumpy when it snows, like in March, even before it's technically spring, or really grumpy if it snows in April, and it's like, but you guys, it's not going to last. You know, it was beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous snow yesterday. I woke up in the morning and all the branches in the woods were covered, and that's just like fairyland. So it was beautiful and then gone. And tomorrow it's going to be in the 60s, tomorrow and Friday. I think Sunday they're saying 80s. So spring is here. Yay, yay. Painting and cleaning. Yep. A whole lot of entertaining a grandchild. That takes all the cleaning energy. Indeed. Okay, so I don't have a lot of preamble tonight. Last week I went on for like 20 freaking minutes before we got started, but tonight I can't wait to get started with the decks. So, there was another thing. We have feral kittens in the woods. We have a mom cat and 2 kittens, and there's a huge beech tree, and right between us, it's not very much, but it's a patch of old growth forest in between us. Goes down a ravine and up the other side, and our friends live at the top of the hill. And there's a huge beech tree, lots of beech trees in this wood, huge beech tree. And there's an oak tree that when we moved up here 23 years ago, it was dying, but it wasn't quite dead yet. And it had a hollow branch that stuck out that we called the alligator branch. And there was a family of squirrels living in it. But this tree is thoroughly dead now. And this last year, the base rotted and it just kind of sat down. It went ka-chunk off of its base, and then it's leaning into the beech tree. And it's a lot of weight. But, you know, we're hoping it stays there. Anyway, there's a little den underneath where that oak tree rotted out. And there's a mama and 2 kittens out there, and Our friend up the hill is aware of it because it's on her property, and tomorrow we're going to try to catch them. We're going to start putting food down to try to catch them. We're going to take Mommy to a place in Akron so she can get spayed, and then socialize the babies so they can have homes. They look like they're about 6 weeks old now, and you know, cute as the dickens, but catching them's going to be fun. So anyway, do I ever give out live personal readings on here? Not really. A couple times I got on and said, you know, if anybody has a question, I'll do readings, and not too much interest. So, so yeah, I just keep these. I mean, I've been thinking about doing different live streams, like keeping this live stream really spiritual and for the collective, and then doing another one that's strictly political readings, because not everybody's interested in both, you know. So been thinking about that, and I could maybe do a personal reading one, but I think it would take a lot of interest on the front end for me to do it. We'll see. So I'll plant the seed. Okay. Hi, Tavia. Yeah, going into autumn down in Oz. Hello, baby Joe. Welcome. All right, let's look at our decks tonight. All except one of these decks were gifts. So I'm going to call out everyone that has gifted me. The first one, don't tell me I don't have it in here. Oh, Lord. Okay, wait. I always take the gift note that comes with the deck. I could have sworn I saw it this afternoon, and stick it in the back of the book, and I don't see this one. I think it was Rose True that sent me this, or she might have sent me this one. But this is the Hedge Witch Botanical Oracle by Ciolo Thompson. Ciolo, I don't know how she pronounces her name. And that's this deck. Then the one with the owls, Samantha, is the Forest of Enchantment Tarot by Linnea Weatherstone and Marilla Allwood. And then we have the Heaven and Earth Tarot by Jack Sephiroth and Jamie Elford. And then the most overpackaged deck I've ever owned, Animal Spirit, the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle deck. It's got a sleeve that slips off. Okay, I just have to show you this. Sleeve that slips off, a box, and then you pull the ribbon to get the book out, and then you pull the ribbon to get another box out, and in that box is another ribbon. Ridiculous. So these are also some decks that I had to dig deep. They were, you know, kind of at the bottom back row of a shelf. So I dug deep looking. I could throw that part away, but I'm not going to. Then, okay, wait. I said I was going to do something, and then I didn't do it. The Wild Unknown was from Delilah Mendoza. Or not the Wild Unknown, the Enchanted Forest. The Heaven and Earth was Annette Klein. Animal Spirit was from Brianna Brong. The Hush Tarot I bought myself. And this is by Jeremy Hush. Wild Unknown Animal Spirit is by Kim Kranz. And then, wait. Picking up the wrong things here. The Flowers of the Night Oracle by Sherilyn Darcy. And this was, I think this is the one that came from Rose True. Yes, Rose. So I don't remember who got me the Hedge Witch. Dang it, I might have it in my catalog noted, but Okay. Yep, that's right, Samantha. I agree. It's hard. I mean, to do it in this format, it would be just like, a one card thing, or it would be very, very small readings. Um, it takes a lot out of you when you're getting used to it. When I first started reading professionally, okay, so here's the story time in the beginning. I stole my first deck, or I borrowed it from my brother-in-law. He told me, where it was. He didn't use it. It was somebody, belonged to somebody. He certainly didn't use the deck. It was a standard Waite Smith, and I borrowed it from Colorado and brought it home and started doing readings. And then when I met my ex-husband, it was right before my birthday, and he bought me my Hanson Roberts Tarot. And I thought, I already have one. Why do I need another Tarot? I had a few Oracle decks by then. Until I started to read with it, and it was so on the money. With the Waite Smith, I always felt like I kind of had to really think and work to get the information out. But once I got the Hanson Roberts, it was like butter, and I started taking it with me everywhere and just offering people readings just so I could practice. And I went to an ex-boyfriend's house and we're hanging out, and he had a friend over, and I said to her, would you like a reading? I'm learning how to do this. She's like, sure. I lay the cards out. I'm reading them in the book. I'm looking them up and saying what I think, and I'm looking down the whole time. And when I looked up, she was like this. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, oh my God, that's so accurate. So I thought, okay. And my friend was doing a street fair. She was a brilliant artist and had a booth at a street fair. And I said, would you mind if I came and, threw a blanket on the ground and offered readings? She said, no. So I told the universe, if I am supposed to do this, please, make it clear to me. And that day was incredible. People sat down and gave me money for readings, and the readings blew my mind and blew their minds, and that was that. Then we were off and running. When I started doing, then I was doing Ren fairs, and you sit all day with your booth and do readings, and sometimes I would do 20 readings in a day, and I had very little confidence, even though the readings were just like, I could see it was working. I have low self-esteem. That's just the way I'm made, and I would try so hard to feel these people, and thinking I'm not connected to them or whatever, that by the end of the day I would have an absolutely smashing headache. And I used to come home after a day full of readings and take the deck and put it all in order again so it could rest. And I would put it on my altar and put a crystal on top of it and let it rest. And then I finally realized, I'm getting headaches because I'm trying to soak up these people's energy, and I'm already an empath. So rather than, this, I needed to do this. So I started visualizing then, and I used to have people shuffle my cards, and I don't let people shuffle my cards anymore. But I would imagine there was a boundary right across the middle of the table. And I made the affirmation and talked to my guides and said, the deck is the only thing that crosses that line. What comes back is information that the deck has picked up, but not their energy. I have no trouble feeling people's energy. So that helped an awful lot. And then I also would take a couple different tarot decks, like my Hanson Roberts and my Robin Wood. And when I would start feeling stale, like I'm saying the same phrases over and over again, but I don't feel connected, I would switch decks just to freshen my brain up a little bit. Okay, let's see. Yes, it does take a lot of energy. It is an underrated deck. I recommend it to every beginner because it's just so, it is very Waite Smith, except that it's three-dimensional. It's softer. I can see what the people are feeling on their faces. That's what I love about it. Hey, Becca, welcome, sweetie. And no, I used to let people shuffle my deck. I do not anymore. And I realized, because when they were shuffling, more often than not, what I would hear is, I'm terrible at shuffling. I don't know how. So what they were shuffling into the deck was all their insecurities, which, that's information. But it just didn't work out the best. So I just trust my guides that they will let me shuffle correctly, and the people that are getting the reading can just relax. Okay. Yes, Robin Wood is one of my very, very faves. Okay, I need some more water. I want to chug that whole bottle of water, and then I'll have to pee later. Do you mind if I have to pee later? You don't. And let's see here. Yeah, by the way, hey Becca, look, there's Pyewacket. Wait a minute. There he is. See that black blob right there? You know, right there, that black blob. That's Pyewacket. Trust me, he's there. Okay. Well, most people aren't comfortable shuffling a playing card deck, and you hand them a tarot deck. Yikes, you know, it just brings up all their insecurities, so that's not a good thing. Alrighty, let's get moving here. Let's start with a little cleanse. So see, I did end up prattling on for 20 minutes. Hark, somebody's creeping into my room. And for those of you who aren't maybe familiar with the elements pertaining to magic, the sage is both air and fire. Fire is what's burning it, and the smoke is for the air. Mind and will. So, by air and fire, may you be purified and charged. Hold on. Got an itch. And with this salt water, I'm going to put a little bit more water in here. I'm getting salt crystals. By water and earth, may you be blessed and made whole. So water is the emotional body, earth is the physical, and then the bell is spirit. So let's clear the space of any extraneous energy, any negativity, any... Oh, how the... Okay, I get it. Yeah, I'm good. I just, there's an extension cord under my desk. And my foot caught it and pulled it back. And that extension cord comes up. The Sharpie can go in there, and the big die, and then that is up here connected to, oh hell, I'm off and running tonight, y'all. Okay, so it knocked a big thing off. All right, let's try that again. So yeah, I knocked this big thing off. It's got my scissors and letter opener and screwdrivers and all kinds of crap in it. All right, could have been a whole lot worse. Hi, Deb. Yeah, it's a way to clear the energy, that's for sure. Let's try that again. Okay. Any harmful excess or deficiency in any of the elements, let the bell clear it away. And just feel the molecules of the air lining up with that vibration. Yeah. Oh my God. All right, and let this bring you down into your body. After getting your ears blown off by that gargantuan crash. I hope nobody had headphones on. And then a third time to bring your attention and your focus to this time and this place. And while you're at it, why not check in? And if there's anything you really want to know about tonight, tune into that and kind of send, and we'll see if the cards can pick it up. Well, happy birthday, Taurus woman. Okay, now, guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, thank you so much for your presence each and every day and for making these live streams so much fun. You are the stars of the show here. So I offer you this fresh water, and I offer you the fire of Azrael, and I'm going to offer this to the decks directly. And see how nice I have things lined up over here now? Got this great setup. All right, no. Okay. Fuss, 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 fuss. All right, let's get going. Astro Dice. Marcy, welcome, sweetie. Thank you, darling. Titch, come back. I'm clearing everything out. A crappy corn. A crappy cappy. I love it. Okay. What energies? Okay, hold on. What energies are calling for our attention tonight? Interesting. We have the South Node in Aries in the second house. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Very, very interesting. So South Node, you might hear about the North Node a whole lot more. The North Node is the karmic way forward, the new territory, the way to forge new ground. I like myself over here better. Thanks. Okay, so a way to break new ground, to go into new karmic territory rather than rehashing the old and the familiar. You know, sometimes the familiar is comfortable and wonderful. Sometimes it's not, but it's familiar, and we choose the familiar over the unknown. The North Node talks about here's the way into the unknown and away from the familiar. So it's the way towards growth, towards expanding yourself as a spirit, expanding yourself in experience. The South Node is that comfortable way. It is the road that you've already traveled. It is known territory. So it is the familiar and the comfortable, even if it sucks, even if it is harmful and toxic to you. Toxic is the better word. So the South Node is talking about the old road, the old and familiar. And in Aries, what's old and familiar? The warlike ways, the us and them paradigm, the age of Aries. Now, with the great ages, the Earth does this wobble when it's rotating on its axis. There's a little bit of a wobble, and because of that wobble, the vernal equinox, the point of the vernal equinox, has been shifting back through the signs. It's called precession. It moves backwards through the signs, and it takes more than 2,000 years for it to pass through one sign. And those are how we know about the great ages. We are currently in the Piscean age, and we're going to, back out of Pisces into the Aquarian age in another 100 and some years. It's quite a ways before that vernal equinox actually hits Aquarius. Now, if you know a little bit about astrology, you're thinking, but the vernal equinox is always 0 degrees Aries. In tropical astrology, it is. We have decided in the West that the point where the sun is at the vernal equinox, when the day and night are even, is the sign, it is the degree of 0 Aries. And so that kicks off spring. In sidereal astrology, and this is why people try to catch out astrologers. Yeah, but, really your sign is not your sign. In sidereal astrology, they follow it where it actually is in the constellation. So the vernal equinox is actually in the constellation of Pisces right now, and then it's going to back into Aquarius. So Aries, the age before Pisces, and we think, what are the hallmarks of the Piscean age? Well, if we go to the age before, in the age of Aries, the bull was worshipped. There were a lot of cultures, and cultures in the Middle East that worshipped a bull god in the Taurian age. And then we back into the age of Aries, and we've got the ram. I mean, think about the Emperor card with his rams there. Strength, power, the leaders that were looked up to in the Aryan age were the ones that could win the wars, the ones that were, great warriors. Then we came into the Piscean age 2,000 years ago. Gosh, can you think of anything else that might have happened 2,000 years ago that was significant coming into a new age? It would be the symbol of the Piscean age, which is the Savior, the sacrificial lamb, the sacrificed God that rises again. That's the Piscean age. Jesus, the Christ is the perfect symbol for it. But now we're looking at, so I digress, we're looking at the South Node in Aries. So it's saying, the old warlike ways, the old ways of aggression. The positive parts of Aries, we cannot forget, is they are the initiators. They are the pioneers. They are the fearless. They are the ones that go plowing forward into the unknown, to discover new things. But they're all about forging new territory. And that's where the warlike stuff comes from, is that territoriality. This belongs to me now. And it also is a very self-absorbed sign, self-referred, validated. Those are positive things. But, self-referenced sign. So the old warlike ways of aggression, and the second house talks about our values. I feel like I'm a broken record lately because we've been talking an awful lot about Uranus and Taurus and those, the values of the second house. So second house is values. It's also economy. It's money. It's how money moves, how we spend our money, the state of the economy. So we're going back over old familiar territory, looking at, the conflict and war that's going on right now and how it's affecting the global economy. And personally, how we are having our own personal finances affected. And Aries here can also talk about just this desire to get on with it, to move forward. We just need to move forward. But, there's this same old thing that we've got to deal with. So, how can we move forward into new territory when we're on the same old path? Is the question. All right. Now we're half an hour in and I'm just getting started. Holy moly. All right, hold on. I'm going to have to get more water soon. All right. Here's the little die. Okay, let me catch up here. Oh, hi, Jessica. Welcome, dear. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. Tavia. Wow. Tavia says that she has South Node in Aries in the second house natally, so I am doing a personal reading. So, in the second house, it would just talk about, I'm really seeing a conflict here of South Node and Aries. At any rate, I'm going to move on. All right. And then, tropical astrology is awesome. All right. Fighting for peace. Yeah. Oh, God, Tavia. No kidding. Fighting for peace. The ultimate oxymoron. All right. Which deck is coming up first tonight? Number 2. The Forest of Enchantment. What a perfect deck to start with. I edged this deck in green, and it's perfect. And I did interview decks. And looky what this deck wanted to talk about. The Five of Boons, which is the Five of Pentacles, which talks about poverty mindset and the mindset of lack and experiencing tough times financially. So, hey, We want to move ahead financially, but we've got old business to take care of. All right. So everybody's feeling the pinch except for Elon Musk, who, although he's feeling the pinch. Do you hear he's saying that he's been homeless? He's living on people's couches. It's like, what the fuck? You know, gentrification taken to a farcical degree, if you ask me. Like somebody said, what is it with these billionaires cosplaying poor people lately? All right. We got a whole bunch here. Let's just start laying them out and see what happens. Okay. We have the White Heart, which is the Fool card. The beginning, the new beginning, the potential of a beginning. It's not even a beginning yet. It's the potential for a beginning. And with the White Heart, that is a magical beast. It's a beast that brings great good fortune when you see it. So talking about slipping into magic mode here, how do we deal with the pinch, the tightness? Well, we get into spiritual mode as much as we possibly can. And then we have the Six of Spells, which is the Six of Wands, the victory card. Look at the little dragon. Can you see him? And then the Three of Challenges. So there's definitely a lot of heartache going on here. Hold on, let's get out the rest. The Eight of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, and the Five of Cups. Okay, hold on a second here. So there's this dichotomy again. The Six of Spells talks about, you know, you look at this baby dragon being born out of an egg, something bright being born, something bright coming to fruition, a bright and miraculous, wonderful thing coming to fruition. But then there's this is equivalent of the Three of Swords. You see the what was he? Ranger, I can't remember, but leaving his children in the woods. Like, I think that's like Hansel and Gretel, having to abandon his children in the woods. Oh my God, you guys, I'm seeing Ukraine here. Trying really hard not to be political about things, but I can't help it. So we've got all potential. Right in the center here is something wonderful that is I mean, Six of Spells is something completed. It's not like about to. But then we have so many left behind. Okay, let me keep going and then I'll tie it together, I hope. Eight of Visions here is Eight of Cups. It talks about kind of wandering lost, wandering away from. They're sort of in the woods and sort of losing sight of each other. But think about Eight of Cups, of loss and walking away, leaving something behind. And then we've got Four of Spells. You know what? It's going to be a lot of looking up tonight, I'm afraid. I do not apologize. Because this also gives you a chance to really get to see some of these decks in action. So this is talking about Four of Spells. Okay, I'm thinking Pentacles. Now I'm not confused anymore. So Four of Spells is about celebrating. That makes sense because that's exactly what you're looking at here. Celebrating. And then we have the Five of Cups. So again, loss. Loss, 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 loss. Let's see what the White Heart says. A new beginning, accepting the invitation, going forward with trust. Going forward, there's the Aries. The journey begins. Follow your instincts. The trees that are named in the description are shown in the card, clockwise from the left. Each has a magical meaning. Apple, the other world. Oak, endurance. Ash, action. Hawthorn, protection. Fir, perspective. Willow, intuition. Holly, challenge. And hazel, wisdom. So it's talking about being beckoned forward. There's something, all right, there is a new beginning here. There's a new way. I'm talking about this all the time lately because it's where we're at. There is a new way waiting for us. The invitation is out there for people of imagination, people of creativity, people of spirituality and faith in spirituality, to go forward into the unknown. We're being called forward, and there's a potential here for a victory, to find something wonderful and new, but there are some things that we need to leave behind. There's going to be loss as well. When we claim victory, there's always a price, right? And down here, let me look up the Eight of Visions. Withdrawing from life, extended solitude, the dangers of depression, being swamped by grief. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. So again, between these two, there's that loss. We're dealing with a lot of heavy emotion, but on the other side here, we've got celebration. So all right, well, we've got to deal with our feelings. There's no two ways about that. We cannot just move forward, reclaim life the way it used to be. Okay, pandemic's over. Let's just go have fun the way we used to. Yay. No, we've been through too much. We've seen too much, and we have to grieve those things. There's loss here. We have to grieve the losses before we can actually move forward. So it's that double thing of grieving the losses and celebrating the fact that we're still here, and the fact that change is still possible. And Five of Visions at the bottom. A temporary disappointment, a pause in happiness. Positive options remain. And let's see what the last card is. Ten of Boons. There's the positive potential that remains. So regardless of what, what potential is available to us, we have to deal with the losses right now, and we can't, it will be to our detriment if we try to move in and claim victory and just move on ahead and forget everything. We can't. We've taken too much of a hit. It's been too much of an impact. And it says, as we start to move forward and start to dream into reality some of these new potentials that we're starting to see, that there will be temporary setbacks. It's not going to be all just surging forward. And look at this, Aries. Yes, we can't just go forward and claim victory because the old path is still hanging on. The old way, there's still so much of it to deal with, and it's still causing us enough pain and will cause us temporary setbacks as we begin to move forward. So, the thing is, this is where Hope Punk comes in. The ability to just hope and keep your eyes on the vision. The only major we have here is the White Heart, saying that we keep our eyes on the magical being. We keep our eyes, and we keep reminding ourselves of the times in the past when we've experienced magic and what that feels like, where things miraculously turned out, better than we could have ever imagined it. So time to start remembering those times of victory, magic being born, celebration, and be able to go back and generate those feelings, bring that state up in order to balance the griefs and the other things that we're going to be dealing with. But then we have the Ten of Boons, which really is a community celebration. People joining together, people able to celebrate. I mean, look what we're dealing with. Mask mandates being struck down by a federal judge that was a Trump appointee after he lost in 2020 and who has never tried a court case. And she said that the reason that she's striking it down is because masks are ineffective because all they do is contain water droplets. Thump, thump. which is what they're supposed to do. So yeah, all right, catching up here. It's cool to be poor in 2022. I know, Darcy. I mean, we know we've always been cool, but who knew we were that cool? Oh my God. Well, money is, with money comes amnesia, I think, Samantha. Um, Yep, Eight of Cups, moving forward. We have to move forward. What we're dealing with, we have to deal, because you see the fog and the mist here. If they try to go forward through that fog, they're going to get lost. So to me, this talks about just kind of being lost in the midst of emotion and depression. But the celebration over here is where we balance that by creating joy. We have the ability to generate joy, and we need to do that wherever we can. It is, Samantha, absolutely, collective dark night of the soul. Yeah. The that Pluto T-square, that is personal dark night of the soul stuff there. In the midst of winter, I found within an invincible spring. I don't know. Oh, Camus, there we go. There we go. Indeed. This is Forest of Enchantment Tarot by Llewellyn. Science much judge. Yeah, right. Japan has been using masks for years. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. It only makes sense. So, that the message there with COVID is just keep on keeping on. Do the things that have kept you safe so far, and keep yourself safe. I just pray to God, because in Ohio now, one can carry a concealed weapon with no permit and no training. We are now the wild, wild west. So if I ever wanted to stay the fuck home before, I want to even more so now. I pray that people decide not to get shitty with people who are wearing masks. Anyway. Right on, Darcy. Absolutely. Right on. Okay. Now, I'm going to set this Five of Boons over here just so I am reminded. And you'll see why in a little bit. Okay. Who's up next? Number 1. The Hedge Witch's Botanical Oracle. And when I asked this deck what it wanted to talk about, it said nurture, build. So, this is clover, and this is cattail, and I mean, simple message, nurture and build. It's Taurus season. If you're in the northern hemisphere, plan your garden. What are you planting? And if you can't grow a garden, how can you grow clarity and humility? And it gave me humility before too. Okay. So we want to nurture and build with clarity, humility, and strength. Wow. Okay. So clarity, of course, is the best place to start with anything. What is it that you're after? What is the life that you want to live? The activity going on here today, tomorrow I am taking boxes and boxes of books to the library in Stowe Monroe Falls because they are collecting books for their fundraiser, and I'm so happy because I had books that I didn't know what to do with that people didn't want. It's like, what do I do with these? They're going to have to go to the dumpster, but we can take all the books to the library and they will make sure that they get where they need to be. And don't worry, my friends, my good books that I'm getting rid of, you get first dibs on, so don't sweat it. They're set aside. But, one of my things is I think about having to move, and you look at situations that people are in, from COVID, from war, from economic hardship, where you've got to move quick and you've got to downsize. And holy shit, there's so much in this house. So I am getting rid of things now, and I'm also very aware of not wanting my kids to deal with a bunch of crap they don't want once I'm gone, you know? I got all of my parents' stuff landed on me when they died. And, you know, some is great, yes, love to have, and, you know, mementos and nice thing, you know, pretty things here and there. And, but, you know, just stuff that it's like, what do I do with this now? You know, so, and I'm worse. I got way more stuff. I got, you know, way more stuff. Anyway, just not wanting my loved ones to deal with that and letting them claim what they want now. You know, here, put your names in things. You know, it's going to be my two kids, easy peasy. So, but, you know, the stuff that I know is just burden and they don't want, it's got to go. It's got to go. And to go places where it can benefit somebody else. Last Friday, I took a huge bag of fabric to, there's a thing called the Socially Responsible Sweatshop in Kent. And they take donated materials, they sew on vintage donated machines like the wasp-waisted Singer machines. And they make all these great little things, you know, like yoga mats and, you know, wine caddies and all kinds of stuff. And they sell it, and every penny that they make goes to food insecurity in the county that I live in. So it's amazing. And it's like all this fabric that was donated to me for masks, I'm not making masks anymore, so I donated it all to them, and the circle keeps turning. So clarity about what kind of lifestyle you want to live now, and looking to the future as well. What's going to happen, you know, when my life changes? If you're, you know, a silverback like me, you're thinking about the last leg of your life and what happens after you die, and what happens, you know, how and when you're going to die, who knows? But if you're younger, just thinking about, you know, what makes you happy, what makes you feel yourself, and what it is that you really want to create in your life, and getting as clear as you can about that, because the clearer you are on the what, you let spirit deal with the how, right? The how and the when. Your job is to get clear on what. And, you know, with details and with ecology in terms of this fits the possibility of my life, you know, and with integrity, with aligned with your spiritual values and your spiritual beliefs. So it's like a lot of ways to run your desires and your wants and your needs through these filters to make sure, is this, you know, part of the holistic package of the life that you want to lead? And then we have humility, which is really in short supply with people that are in high visibility. And look, it's the lowly dandelion. This is wild rose. This is dandelion. So humility is about, you know, living low to the ground, staying low to the ground. And I think, too, it has a lot to do with re-evaluating, because we have been taught that success equals money, and money equals success, and money also equals self-worth. And so we think that being humble, you know, you can kind of think of humility and being humble as kind of being worth less. But humility doesn't mean you're worth less. Humility means, I think it means I know my worth. I don't need to puff myself up. I don't need external achievements. I don't need shit tons of money. I don't need to put myself out as so much better than anyone else. I don't need to be something that I'm not. I can be simply who I am, and it's not just enough, it's perfect, you know? It's the perfection of my life. And strength here is bearberry, Uva ursi. And so, you know, we also think about strength equaling power. It's like strength, power, money, success, worth. All of those things get conflated. So we can be strong and humble. We can be successful and humble. We can be, and I think, humility means that my self-worth is not sitting on a bubble of externals. That regardless of the times I'm going through, I am still who I am. And that is more than enough. Then we have service and preserve. And there were two. That might have been the other one. But service and preserve. I think I got preserve and pleasure earlier when I was pulling cards. It was preserve and pleasure. So service comes in here too. Service and humility. When we're not humble, we don't serve. People serve us. So clarity and humility can translate into service. That I see very clearly what needs to be done. I see very clearly my role. And I am able to put myself in service to others because I have many gifts to offer. And that doesn't mean that I'm beneath them. Service is not something that puts you beneath. Then we have humility and strength, preserve. Okay. I think they're the strength to preserve your humility, or when we are humble and strong in who we are, that this is pine, evergreen. There's a part of us then that doesn't ever dissolve and go away and change. Kind of preserve our own worth in our own life. And then we have huckleberry, resourcefulness. Clarity, service, resourcefulness, strength, preserve, resourcefulness. Resourcefulness is a gift in these day and times. Talking about this week, things that I want to do this summer. I want to learn how to make pemmican. I'm going to work on storing a food supply. And one of the things I want to learn how to make is pemmican, which is a Native American thing where they dry meat and pound it into a powder, mix it with fats and dried fruits, and it's just packed with nutrition and energy and lasts a long time. And I have a vacuum sealer so I can take and vacuum. So that's what I want to work on this summer. I want to use my ingenuity to learn how to preserve food and to preserve my resources. Look at this, strength, preserve resources. Learning how to use what the earth gives us in a way that sustains and not uses up. So I think humility also talks about how we walk on this planet. We're not the lords of the earth, and we're here to use it up because God gave it to us. Yum, yum, yum. Eat them up. I am here as a steward of the earth. I am here as a creature of the earth, and a creature of the earth with the consciousness to change things and to preserve. Change, preserve. So looking at, the planting of trees, how can we serve the earth herself? Gosh, Taurus season. How can we serve the earth herself by being humble about what our place is in the web, what our place is in the whole scheme of things, and using our intellect, our intelligence to steward the earth and to preserve the resources for the future, to be planting fruit trees everywhere, to have cities that are planting food and people can come and just sort of harvest rather than ornamental flowers that are just, annuals and take a lot of water and everything, and they're pretty, but, ways to overcome food insecurity. And then we've got the Five of Pentacles sitting over here, talking about the insecurity, financial insecurity, food insecurity. The earth gives us everything that we need. And if we put ourselves in humble service to her, the resources will be there for us. Okay, that took a little winding way, but it came out very simple in the end, didn't it? Didn't it? Okay, let's see. All right, wait a minute. I gotta scroll back a little bit. Narcissistic Nation, that would be a great band name, okay? Yes, yay books. My parents said put a post-it on what we wanted when they were gone. My brother put my name on the awful stuff as a joke. Ah, har har. Yes. Okay. Yes, Uva ursi, dandelion too. Both diuretics. Rinsing, flushing things out, flushing out the water system, you know, flushing the toxins out. Letting go of wasteful issues, absolutely. Huckleberry. Dandelions are deep-rooted and ground breakers. They grow where nothing else will, even through concrete. Yes, that and plantain, two of the greatest medicinal plants there are so strong. There was that strength card there. They're so strong. They grow through concrete. The First Nations used to call plantain white man's footsteps because wherever the wagons went, wherever the ruts were and things were getting worn down, the plantain would spring up. So, good. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Hedge Witch. I am so glad I went digging deep because it's like, Taurus, what decks do I want? And I just started pulling stacks off the shelf. Okay. Who's up next? 6. The Flowers of the Night. So this deck, when I asked what it wanted to talk about, it said which way's which. All right. Here we go. Preserve Pleasure. This is the deck that had Preserve Pleasure. So interesting. You know, we're getting repeating messages already. So this plant is called Silver Ghost. This one is Belle de Nuit, and you have the little critters where these plants grow too. So preserve pleasure means that we need to save a part of our lives, you know, that we need to not feel guilty when we find pleasure in life, even when, you know, everything's falling to shit around our ears. And you can look at also pleasure preserve. The pleasure there is in preserving the parts of our culture that are worth saving, in preserving food, in learning how to be, you know, to walk lightly, as they say. Okay. So the Hedge Witch, Samantha, is that the deck you're talking about? All right, let's put Pleasure and Preserve up here and see what else they want to say to us. All right. Alrighty. There's just one more here, and let's put it in the middle. Motivation, pleasure, motivation, preserve. Let's put them the way we had them first. Preserve, motivation, pleasure. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty clear that when we go about preserving, finding out what we want to keep. So, you know, it's equally important to be clear on what needs to go. It's equally important to know what needs to stay. So we have to equally focus on those things. And you could do that in a lunar cycle. At the new moon, you start focusing on what is it I want to build, what is it I want to keep. And at the full moon to the new, you start thinking about, okay, now what has to get out of my way? What do I need to go away in order to clear space for the things that I want to preserve? And then that's our motivation, just to increase our pleasure in life. All right, let's look here. Transformation, affinity. Ooh, this is Angel's Trumpet, and this is Night Phlox. And motivation is 4 o'clocks. So preserve, motivation, transformation. That when we're motivated by what is good about this earth and what we want to keep and what we want to preserve, we can transform our surroundings into literal preserves. I live down the street from the Kent Bog, and there was a raging battle in the 1980s because the land, there's a lot of land that way that's all fields and woods, but it's right next to a big highway, and they wanted to use this land and build shopping centers and stuff, and Kent people fought hammer and tongs and won not to have that zoned commercial. And they got one of the big parts of the fight was that there's this bog here that has the southernmost stand of tamarack trees. They're getting rarer, and they're basically deciduous evergreens. They're deciduous needle trees, very interesting trees. And there were rare species. There was a spotted turtle and other rare species of plants, sundew plants and things there, and they got it declared a nature preserve, and there's a boardwalk that goes through it. Now they've claimed even way more acres that go all the way over to the other road, and they're putting in more boardwalk to preserve. But at the same time, pieces of land are starting to fall to development there. So, knowing what they wanted to preserve and the motivation that was put behind it has transformed that space and the idea of how people are going to use it. And the people on the business side, but we need these shops, and it's like, well, we haven't needed them for 40 years, have we? So transformation can be a quiet, subtle, internal thing, where if you just say, no, we're not going to do that here, over time, people start to look at the space, the undeveloped land in a very different way. This is something now we're going to preserve rather than something we're going to develop. And then, motivation, pleasure, and affinity. So affinity means something that you vibe with, something that you feel. Let's go to the book here. Affinity says, knowing what truly aligns with you is vital at present. A softening of aggression and calming of emotions is indicated by night flocks. So there's that kind of Aries South Node thing of just calming. Tensions will ease and peace should prevail, but be prepared to do the work to make this happen. Someone is near who offers companionship, a relationship, or even an opportunity that's deeper on all levels. All right, so I'm thinking back to that Eight of Cups, that we need to deal with our emotions and our aggressions. And if pleasure is our motivation and we're vibing with, I want to align myself with the things that bring pleasure to my life, the enjoyment of nature, of company, of music, of good food, of, those simple things in life. If we're motivated by pleasure, then we can come into affinity and start to generate those kinds of things. Okay. You should find yourself surrounded by like-minded people and in situations you truly enjoy and thrive in. Don't let invitations pass you by. So here we go, back into, not quite public life maybe, but into community life. Challenges include tension, infatuation, and dangerous temptations. Okay, so we also have to be, if we're motivated by pleasure, we have to be aware of balance and how motivated we are by pleasure. And if that's going to turn into territoriality and jealousy and temptation. And then we have depth. Ooh, okay, hang on. Motivation, depth. Okay, so this is where instead of instead of forging new territory, being an explorer and a pioneer of new territory, this talks about staying in the old territory, but instead going deeper. Instead of spreading out like, people that, like Putin, need more land, gotta find, we're constantly conquering more territory, and I need more. It's now time to go deeper rather than wider. To attract to us the things that, we attract. Your vibe attracts your tribe, right? We attract to us what we have inside and what we really believe, What we really believe is what we see out there. So if we're working to preserve so that we can enjoy the life that's here with us, we can attract transformation to us. We attract the people to us that are also working towards these things. And when we have people around us and we're all working towards the same thing, that brings a lot of motivation. But this is also talking about depth, where just staying right where you are. Information like in Ohio, these ornamental pear trees are everywhere, and they're non-native and they're invasive. So I've been sharing a lot of articles about, if you have ornamental pear trees, cut them down. They're wiping out native species. So it's like staying where you are. You don't need to spread out and go far afield to have an impact on the world. You can do it right from where you are. It took me 3 years in the spring, but I succeeded in wiping out all of the invasive garlic mustard that was growing in our woods. Like 7 years ago or so, 6 years ago, it was taking off. It was everywhere. And I'm like, oh, hell no. And I went out of the woods. It's very easy to pull up. And I pulled. And Maria up the hill had geese that loved to eat it. So I gave it all to her. People can eat it. You can make pesto out of it. I never did. But our little patch of woods back here, by preserving and taking pleasure in those woods and taking care of them and going deeper in learning about the species that are out there, which ones belong and which ones don't, you can steward your little patch of earth. You don't have to have a farm. You don't have to have woods. You can look at, even if you can only plant in containers, just learning about what's native to your area, grow things that, growing food. We ate hostas for the first time last week. They're delicious. You cut them when they're in tight spears coming up, just cut them like right at ground level. And I sauteed them with some olive oil and salt and pepper and garlic. And oh my God, they're so good. Tender, like a mild asparagus. They have a tiny bitterness, but it's just delicious. I'm going to cut some more in a few days. So, okay, I want to catch up with messages here. Preserve. Ooh, yes. Taurus, I have what we own, absolutely. Flowers of the Night. Yes, it is a gorgeous deck. Okay. Oh no, Jake, what are you doing? Darcy will tell me later, I'm sure. But you like the Flowers of the Night one? My gay is showing. Gay, 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 gay! Let's hear it. Oh, symbolizing fertility. I have my penis whistle over there on the altar. I have a penis whistle. Would you like to see the penis whistle? I mean, we are coming up on Beltane, right? So, you're not going to get banned from the channel. Linda's going to kill us. No, she's not. Come on, make me laugh. All right. We'll talk later. Hold on. Well, he didn't want to come out and play, but he is. I got this in Chinatown in San Francisco. And there were big ones, but I could only afford a little one. Isn't he cute? See? Cute? Honk, honk. Okay, so there we go. All right. It's like... Thank you, Jake. That was worth it. Okay. All righty. So, going deep. Let's go deep as we go into a change of seasons. You know, if you're in the southern hemisphere, you can go deep by looking at what's being harvested and what you would like to not come back in the spring and what you would like to come back. If it's in the springtime, let's go deep, looking at the flora and fauna around and how we can support. I know there's still bird flu here, and they're talking about don't feed, you know, put out seed for the birds because it's spreading, and the you know, the small birds are in trouble. So, okay, yes, Taurus is sensuality. You got that right. Beltane is coming up. Naked Gardening Day. And every year where I share the video of the 1st of May. Maybe I'll give you guys a link to that. All right. Who's next? No, we just did that one, darling. 3. Heaven and Earth Tarot. This deck gave me Knight of Cups and Established Strength, the 3 of Wands. So Knight of Cups, he's the one that's willing to go into emotional territory. He's the one that is, you know, emotionally brave, and he has something to offer us. He is bringing an offer. And then we have Strength showing up again. This deck is stiff. Okay, let your inner Beavis and Butthead out, you guys. My channel is set as not for children, so have at it. All right. The Knight of Cups and Established Strength. So let's talk about our own established emotional strength. The fact that so far you have managed to survive every shitty day that life has thrown at you. And look what's in the middle here. Pleasure. Pleasure is Taurus's domain. Sensual pleasure. That means pleasure of the senses. You know, looking at beautiful things, beautiful artwork, burning gorgeous incense, wearing beautiful oils that, you know, put you in a mood. Having wonderful things to eat. We got some mangoes the other day, best fucking mangoes I've ever had. And listening to music. You know, when you crawl into bed at night, do your sheets feel wonderful? Or, you know, the pleasure of the senses is what we're talking about in Taurus season. And what can we bring to this picture emotionally? What kind of, when we do take pleasure in life, when we are here conscious that we are the gods in a human body so that we can enjoy our creation, what do we do with that? And we have the look at this. The Lovers, the 2 of Cups, love. The Lovers, love, pleasure. Knight of Cups, established strength. So there is strength when we bring our love to the world, when we bring the love of life, the love of this good earth, and we dwell in that. We take pleasure in everything that life is providing us and that the earth is providing us. And we can generate love in a big spiritual vibe and on a practical level as well. And then we have the Five of Pentacles. You're gonna laugh in just a minute when we get to our other tarot deck here. So we've got all of this. Oh my gosh. Five of Pentacles says, yes, we are in crisis. Look at Saturn here. Saturn, and look at the North Node. And Mars, Aries. Okay. So there is strife. There is a restriction. So this, look at the pentacle in the flames here. Our economy is going to be restructuring. It is restructuring now. The sanctions that have been placed on Russia, these sweeping massive sanctions, the destruction that has happened in Ukraine, the breadbasket of Europe, are going to bring us strife. And it's going to be a challenge to us. So this Knight of Cups, look at this, a warrior of the heart, a warrior of the emotions, and our established strength in being a warrior of peace and a warrior of love and of pleasure. And it's going to take all the love we have to pour into it, because there's going to be strife around, you know, we've just got economic strife on the way. Let me see how many I have left here. I've got 5. My baby loves loving. No kidding, I can't sleep in pajamas. I absolutely cannot. I twist, I flip and flop too much. I turn, you know, I'm like a whirling dervish. I end up with everything wrapped around me, and I have to, plus I can feel every wrinkle in it. Even in my sheets, I can feel the wrinkles in the sheets. They wake me up. So yeah, I cannot do jammies. Naked hot tub day, yes. Okay, let's see what these 5 are. Oh, then we've got an Ace of Wands. We've got loss of pleasure. Holy shit. Okay, hold on. 5. I'm confused. So, oh, this is the 5 of Cups. Okay. It's not clear sometimes, you know, what the suit is. But we have Ace of Wands, we have loss of pleasure, we have Queen of Cups. So the Ace of Wands, the creative energy, it's going to take energy because, you know, we're constantly being drained here. And the Queen of Cups is the one that has the intuition and the deep secrets. Perfected work, that's the 4 of what? The 4 of Wands. So we've had 4 of Wands before. And then we have the 2 of Swords, peace. Not sure I'm going to go too deeply into these. But certainly there is strife. It's going to take everything we've got in us to generate enough love and pleasure to keep from, you know, going down the path of depression. We have to rely on our intuition. Perfected work here means we just need to hone in on exactly what we can do, we ourselves can do to contribute. What can you do? Do that thing. And also, what can you do to preserve your own family? What can you do to make sure that there's a buffer between you and supply line issues, you know? And then the 2 of Swords there. I mean, it says peace, but it's also just, that can be denial, kind of pulling back from the outside. Certainly the message is clear here, but the lovers and love and pleasure, I mean, this is Beltane season for sure. And what's coming into me too is start planning your Beltane activities and your magic now, because we're going to really need to tap into that Beltane energy. The world is going to need that energy to be pumped up and magnified. So we need to do it. And you know what? I want to take, I've already shuffled it back in, but I wanted to set aside, hold on. Hold on. There it is. The Five of Pentacles. I'm just going to put that one there. Just for fun, like. Protection, yes. Two of Swords. Absolutely, protection. Oh, Jake. Not with the stranger. Oh my gosh, loss of pleasure, yes. All right, trying to reevaluate what brings us pleasure. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And to me, it's bringing that, you know, the things that give us pleasure, the actual, you know, taking of pleasure in life needs to be balanced with preservation. So we're not using up all the resources. Okay, number 3, we've done that. Number 6, we've done that. Number 6, we've done that. Come on, one. I only have 2 left. There's one. Aye. When I asked this deck, it gave me unicorn. I'm going to have to look up this deck because they don't have keywords on the cards. I haven't used this deck since I unboxed it. Shame. No, not shame. I refuse shame. Just, you know, I'm so glad to be digging deep and pulling out decks that that I'm not familiar with, and this channel has strengthened me in that way, because in the beginning it was like, oh, I can only pick decks that I'm really familiar with, so I'm confident using them, and it's like, no, it ain't me anyway, it's my guides that are working here. So all right, yes, silvered that deck. The Heaven and Earth Tarot is a Thoth deck, absolutely. Okay, we've done this before, we can do it again, this time even stronger, to find higher realms. Yes. 2 of Swords joining the heart and mind. Interesting. The blindfold represents not. That's fabulous, Samantha. Yes, the blindfold is going internal, and that's a boundary. You know, those swords are a definite solid boundary so that you keep your inner peace. But the thing is, we got to keep the inner peace while all hell's breaking loose. Somebody shared a thing from Thich Nhat Hanh today about being clear-minded and clear-sighted, and he was talking about the Vietnamese boat people and how you know, they would be in these little boats and tossed around sometimes in storms, and if everybody panicked, they were done for. That it takes someone remaining clear-headed and clear-eyed, that clarity that came up first on the Hedge Witch. It takes us remaining clear and being practiced in keeping our inner peace, practicing staying in touch with that inner peace, staying in touch with love, staying in touch with hope, in order to survive when everything's rocking and rolling. Because, you know, if we can be the ones that don't panic, we can be the ones to help things come through. This is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle. Okay, so the yes, there is a Wild Unknown Tarot, and I think I'm going to get it. I remember not really liking this deck when I first started looking at it, but now I'm remembering, and I do. So this is one of the spirit cards, and it is reconnecting to higher wisdom or divinity. So Unicorn talks about believing in things you've never seen, you know, connecting to divinity, really getting to the place where that becomes a living thing for you, a real and living thing. All right, let's see what else we got out here. We have Dragonfly, Stingray, and we'll put that one there. So dragonfly is air, and you can see the symbols. Oh, there's a clue. So the ones with the circle on them are the spirit. So the animals are sorted into the elements. Dragonfly is air. Okay, earth, water, fire, of course. There. All right. And they're not in any order. Okay, I remember getting grumpy about that. Not in any order in the categories. Okay, Master of Light, Illusion, and the Mind. So these do kind of vibe the same way as the medicine cards. Dragonfly is an indicator species. Dragonfly, frogs are indicator species. I'm trying to think of some other ones. But those are the species that, you know, science keeps an eye on, because if they start going, we know there's going to be a cascade. And, you know, it's an indicator of whether things are healthy or not. And then stingray. Let's look at stingray. Okay, wait a minute. Dragonfly is an ancient and ethereal creature that awakens a sense of wonder in all. It's a symbol of the mind, so because it is an air creature. As it is always moving, shifting, shimmering, and changing. When the dragonfly card appears, it's worth considering the quality of your mind and perception. Are they restless or still, dreamlike or crystal clear? The situation at hand may be different than it appears at first glance. The dragonfly reminds us to calm the mind so the light of wisdom can shine through. There we go again, being the ones that are clear-eyed and calm and able to assess the situation and be resourceful in that time. When in balance, sees clearly, joyful, magical. So clarity, remember over here? When out of balance, can't concentrate, busy mind, ADHD. And to bring into balance, focus on the breath. So, Master of Light, Illusion, and the Mind. So we are called now to look at the quality of our mind right now. And I can say that having been recently diagnosed with ADHD and medicated, I have felt a profound shift in the grinding depression I've been under for quite some time now. So time to assess the clarity of mind. What is the quality of your mental energy? Is it, are you able to focus it? Or is it jumping all over the place like a monkey? And talking about bringing balance by concentrating on the breath. I found a poem today that I'd written a long time ago, and it was about the breath, and it's really taken me back to that. Okay, let's go to stingray here. Water. They have a little black paper at the beginning of each section, so it makes it easier to find, which is a good thing because I don't think this deck has any content. Oh, it does have a contents page. But it doesn't say, you know, have a contents page that lists all the animals. It just lists the categories. But you can find the categories with the black page. So why would I use that list? All right. Crocodile. Stingray. Developing confidence, sense of self, or spine. The stingray represents a pivotal point in personal growth. The moment has come when the stingray must decide between the old, easy, comfortable, and familiar south node and the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar. Pressure from family and friends makes the decision even more complicated. No matter what choice is made, it's inevitable that this dilemma will surface again and again, as the force of Dharma growing within the stingray is too strong to ignore. When in balance, eager, wants to grow. When out of balance, blames others, quits. To bring into balance, move through the discomfort. So we've got discomfort coming up with all these Five of Pentacles and the Eights of Cups and the Three of Swords and the Five of Cups, talking about discomfort, emotional discomfort. It's gonna be there. Don't deny it. Don't wallow in it. See that it's there, clear-minded. Oh yes, There's an emotional load that I need to process, and then we process that emotional load without drowning in it. So Stingray, a water creature, doesn't drown in the water, he can swim. So we want to be eager to go into new territory. We've got that south node pulling us back into the comfortable. So this, to move through discomfort is to be willing to be in discomfort when it's there. As soon as you accept that it's there and decide to sit with it, it shifts. Trust me on that one. Now, let's see what we have here. Horse. Ooh, so we're taking the mythological creature and bringing it into the world of reality. The creatures that actually do walk the earth. I wish these were in order of any sort. It just makes it so difficult to look things up. Okay. Momentum, freedom, expansive energy, and force. So yes, horse. Woohoo! Here we go, moving forward. So the Stingray offers us that choice. Which way are we going to go? Are we willing enough to experience discomfort to take the new path? Or must we be in comfort all the time, which drags us back to the familiar and keeps us in stasis, keeps us static? And if we are willing to be in discomfort, if we can be clear-minded about, yes, this is discomfort, this is a passing thing, remembering that your emotions belong to you, but they aren't who you are. They're not your identity. You are not, in fact, sad or angry. You feel sad and angry. And if we look at it that way as a feeling, we know that feelings are fluid and they will move and shift. They will change. That is the nature of emotional energy, is that it moves and changes. So if we are willing to face the discomfort, be clear about it, and if we are connected with the divine, if we have faith inside us of reminding ourselves, I know how magic works, I've experienced this before, it's still true, even if I can't feel it right now, then we can get on that horse and move. Then that horse will take us someplace. The horse represents the most masterful form of earth energy within the deck. It provides us with momentum, so reliable, so supportive, that you can ride on its back toward any goal, no matter how difficult the terrain. A horse personality is fully awakened, fully alive, and cannot be defeated. The horse's freedom becomes available to us when we hone and collect our energy through daily practice. Physical stamina, exercise, and mental focus, meditation, are the secret weapons behind the horse's legacy. When in balance, achieves anything, never gives up. When out of balance, runs away, feels weak. To bring in balance, strength training. Okay. So yeah, we've got to just personally keep our mind clear. Remember that whatever emotional is going on is just pure energy. It's the storyline that locks it in. So if we can drop the storyline, stay clear mentally, and process the emotional energy, then we can move. We can really get going. But this is a reminder, oh boy, I'm getting called out so hard with this horse. I have been so sedentary, my legs are so very weak, and I need to talk to my doctor so I can start exercising again, because my joints keep dislocating. Okay, let's see. I'm catching up with your lively messages here. All right. Okay, which one either hate or love the Wild Unknown, Jake? Wild Unknown Archetypes Oracle deck. Ooh, interesting. Okay, clarify your intent, get ready to reclaim old territory in a new way, or get ready to move into new territory. But yes, you can, I mean, it is new territory when you're in the same physical place, but you're seeing it with new eyes, you're seeing it with a new intention. It's new territory. You know, we're not talking about having to have a physical new territory. Aries in the second, resources come and go quickly. Okay. That's true. All right. with Uranus and Taurus. Yes, that is upheaval in the physical. Thanks for that reminder, Tavia. So collectively, with Uranus transiting through Taurus, this is why things are so unsettled. You know, Uranian energy is like earthquakes and lightning. It's unexpected, it's fast, bang. You know, it's eccentric, unexpected, unpredictable, and that is in Taurus. So it also can bring excitement and innovation, you know, if you use it before it uses you, but sometimes we don't have that choice, right? Okay. Yes. I mean, the deck itself, I remember the problem I had with this deck, that the meanings were all talking about the such and such personality, that they were kind of phrased as, you know, doing a personal reading of what are my personal animals. And this time I'm really feeling the other messages coming through, so not so much, but it's the looking up of things that really made me not reach for it often, because although they're pretty intuitive, and they are pretty much in line with like the medicine cards, which is the first animal deck I had. Horse certainly is in line with that. Dragonfly is in line with that. They didn't have either unicorn or stingray, so forget those. But yeah, I think that we just have to keep remembering that we are divine, and keep our mind clear in that regard, and keep our, you know, psychological maintenance up. We need to take care of ourselves psychologically to make sure that we're in balance. But this was talking about really, look at the chakra colors here. And also it's a water creature, so being able to dive into the emotional, feeling at home in the emotional, and being able to choose the way forward, and then we can really get moving. All right. I think Deviant Moon is an amazing deck. Yeah, I didn't like it when I first saw Deviant Moon either, and then when I got it and started working with it, it was incredible. All right, we've got Zebra upside down, and I want to see, okay, fire. I want to see what the challenge side of Zebra is here. That's air, wait. Water, fire. Like this, I've got to just flip through every single one until, okay. Eclectic, creative, visionary. Zebras are the most precious of gems. They're young at heart, well cultured, and have an undying curiosity about life. Being in the company of a zebra personality not only is a delight, but also opens our minds. Be prepared, their potent magic is contagious. You may soon find yourself in a faraway land, expanding your worldview while having a blast. Zebras also like to contribute to the global health through environmental or volunteer work. This card may be a hint to pack your bags. Okay, so this is the go box or the go bag. You know, this is what I'm talking about, managing resources and having a buffer between you and economic hardship. So in balance is worldly, enthusiastic, and fashion forward. When out of balance, jaded, pouty, and vain. Okay. Well, I'm not going to take too much from that. Potent magic, it's all about having fun and being flashy and enthusiastic, but talking about the global health and environmental issues. That was the message there. That was a reiteration of that message. Okay. And our last deck is the Hush Tarot. And when I asked, do you want one more? Okay, Samantha, hold on. I'm trying to catch up with messages here. I'm going to go quiet for just a little bit. Hold on. Okay, one more from the Wild Unknown. Oh. We're just going to take what came up on top. Panther. Panther is another fire critter. Okay. Annihilation of the unnecessary. Purging. The panther won't stand to see our growth or energy stagnate. Instead, it pounces into our lives and causes all kinds of havoc with the ultimate intention of bringing us toward more fulfilling lives. It's unexpected, uncomfortable, and sometimes feels devastating. That's Uranus. Ooh, man. But after all the dust clears, it's easy to see the panther's wisdom at work. We've all been through these experiences. They've made us better people. Trust that the panther's journey always leads to a brighter place. Brave, productive. All right. Brave, Aries, and productive. Did we have turtle, hummingbird, and dragon? You got your dragon, Samantha. But I'm going to move on to the Hush. And when I asked this deck what it wanted to talk about, it gave me the Five of Pentacles. So here we have our trio of Fives of Pentacles. Every tarot deck that I picked tonight brought us Five of Pentacles. Hey, hold on one second. I'm going to make my son bring me some water. Hang on. Okay. I'm texting him. And ooh, that little ding that I just got was a space weather alert. Risk of solar storms. The sun has been popping off every single day, but any CMEs have gone away from Earth. Please, oh please, oh please. This is another reason to do your magical work, to just keep generating strength to the Earth's protection, you know. Okay, we are brave idiots, Aries, yes. Okay, Samantha, I look forward to that story. Okay, first decan of Taurus. About letting go of old ways and thinking old ways of lack. We can't have anything if they have it, and we're here to, yeah, it's the zero-sum mentality. We need to get into the abundance mentality of the earth is a system and can care for all of her creatures equally. It's that, you know, where it's gone wrong. It's the toxic greed. It's the toxicity of the old, you know, this culture. Anyway, you spy pie? Is it pie? Like a pie? Oh, he must have got up and left. Brave Idiots would be a good band name too. Yes, I agree. Oh, Five Pentacles is the first deck. Oh, okay. Yes, I get that. All right. Let's go. Oh, here we go. All right. So now we have the Nine of Pentacles and we have the Seven of Swords. Okay. So we've got the, I'm going to be looking up some stuff here too. I like to see it, you know, using these decks that I don't usually use. I like to be reminded of how they roll. All right. The Five of Pentacles here is characterized as strife and loss. Yes, absolutely. Financial failure has you underwater. A misdirection in plans can have a miring effect. This card indicates a refusal to open your eyes to the real problems. So we've got everything that we've been pulling tonight is there, talking about we need to clarify our minds and be very clear about what our resources are, how we're using them, yada, yada, yada. Now, Nine of Pentacles, independent, self-discipline. So I like that. I mean, independence certainly has always been a key word for Page of, or Nine of Pentacles, but the way I've always seen it is that you have enough yourself, that you have enough and are enough to keep yourself together, you know, to keep body and soul together, to have what you need, to generate what you need. So the independence here next to the Five can talk about that maybe now we need to move beyond independence into interdependence, because we got Seven of Swords over here and it talks about, you know, stealing. That's the thief card, right? Deception and betrayal. All right, absolutely. So we need to look at what is taking away from us, where our resources are a waste, where we are putting resources that is just like throwing money down the toilet, where we feel like we're being robbed. And then look at her back on these, talking about becoming independent as far as our resources go. Let's continue. We have the Devil, and we have the Queen of Wands. And then we have the Ten of Wands. All right. So the Devil, of course, talking about control or lack thereof, talking about temptation, talking about attachment. So these are talking about the attachment to the material that we have and really coming to terms with that, so that we can become more independent. I have pared our expenses down over the last several years as much as humanly possible right now, and continuing to have like electricity and phones and shit like that. We gave up cable a while ago, and I mean our just internet bill, it's only internet, is still $75 a month. But I'm getting ready to start calling and saying, you know, let me talk to your customer retention department. Was somebody talking about that last week, I think? Say, let me talk to your customer retention department and say, I'm going to go someplace else if you don't knock my bill down, you know? But looking at what you can actually live without, and living without TV. I mean, we have plenty to watch. We've got all kinds of other. I share Netflix and Hulu with my daughter and my niece, and Discovery Plus. My daughter got plenty to keep me happy and to watch between that and YouTube and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, and what we don't have without having TV. My husband can't watch his sports, and that makes me sad. But that's another way we get robbed. Used to be free to watch sports on TV. No more. Greed. But what we live without having TV is all the fucking ads. All the political ads. I don't have to deal with those. Thank God. You know? There's ads on YouTube, but you wait till you get to skip ads, and then you skip them, you know? It's way easier to deal with than the bullshit on TV. So looking at what we're attached to, what we think we can't live without, and look at this looking towards independence here. How can we pare down our expenses and use our resources more wisely so we can be more independent, rather than feeling like I am at the mercy of, you know, all of these hiccups in the economy. And I mean, we're going to be at the mercy of it no matter what. Supply lines go down with food, problems happen. Gas prices are not determined by us, you know, and how much we drive. A lot of people don't have a choice about if you work outside of the home. But see, that's what place where our culture needs to change, so we're not as dependent. And then we've got the Queen of Wands here. I'm going to look her up. This deck has wands at the end. It's weird. Positivity and determination. You are a natural leader and firmly focused on your goals. You are radiant in the dark of the world. The arrow on your shoulder points out your direction. The crow is a symbol of mystery. You listen closely, but it is you that draws out their secrets. Reversed is apprehensive and cautious, but this is talking about being positive and determined. And then down at the bottom, we've got Ten of Wands. So we can talk about, you know, things being a little oppressive. Responsibility. The road's been a long one. You've taken on so much and accomplished great things. All of this comes with the heavy burden of having to maintain it. Do not be afraid to delegate and entrust work to others. The insect kingdom is a microcosm of a machine with each participant doing its job. The cat is a reminder to use courage and refined senses to tackle problems. So ultimately, we just need to be responsible for how we are using our resources, you know, and when we've got 3 Fives of Pentacles coming out, let's see how we can transform this. We've got the Moon. How can we transform this? By getting in touch with our witchy ways. By going deep into the intuitive. By, you know, we've been talking about sensuality in terms of pleasure, but let's talk about sensuality in terms of intuition, in terms of the whiskers that sense, in terms of knowing that we are animals too, and as animals that are living in the wild can sense when an earthquake is coming, we can also sense what's going on with the solar flares that are happening, with the Schumann resonance fluctuating because of geomagnetic storms. You know, we can recognize that sometimes the anxiety, the upheaval, the discomfort that we're feeling is because there's upheaval in the energetic field that we're part of. There's upheaval on the macro scale, and we feel it too. So part of that clarity of mind that Dragonfly was talking about and the clarity card is in understanding that we're not just these standalone systems, that if I'm upset, if I'm feeling anxious or something, it's got to be something, you know, in my past, you know, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm feeling this grief because there's an outpouring of it going on this planet. You know, maybe I'm feeling really unsettled and idioty because the electromagnetic field is fucked up and taking hits from our giant star, you know. So I think, you know, that this Taurus season, talking about really getting back in touch with the earth and with our body, that relates on all levels. It's not just on the physical level. Being in touch with your body can help you get into states that help you connect with the divine, with spirit on this level. Being in your body helps you process the water level of emotions. Being in your body can help you be more conscious of what's going on out there. So intellectually, you can have like a better grasp of things. You can be clearer about what's happening. And of course, it's difficult when you're in it, like having it snow like mad yesterday, and tomorrow's going to be mid-60s, and you know, these up and down temperatures causing pain. It's hard to have perspective when you're in the middle of it. It's hard to have perspective when you're feeling grief and depression. You know, you can't just snap out of it and be objective when you're in the emotional soup, right? But being in your body and being in touch with that earth element will help you process those emotions through your body. Emotions are physical. So you've got to be in your body to be aware of them. You have to accept that they're happening. And being in touch with your body and with the earth element can help you know what your resources are that can help you with your what you want to create. You know, in order to create something, you need resources. In order to create magic, which is energy, you need to tap into earth energy. You need to be connected to the source of earth. So everything that we need to accomplish starts with us being connected to the earth element, being connected to your body, to your resources, to your mind, you know, but the earth element, you know, being cognitive, being mentally, intellectually aware of what's going on in your body and aware of what your resources are and being able to make clear choices about it. Everything comes back down to in touch with the earth element, in touch with our values here and what we want to create out of that. And going back to the past, that south node, going to the past and reminding ourselves of what we have accomplished in the past, what we have experienced, and reminding ourselves that those things still exist. All the magic, all the transformation, all the successful spell work, all of that. I want to see what my phone's dinging about again here. Oh, okay. Nothing I need to be aware of right now. So, an earth harp. Okay, 5 of Pentacles in the first decan. Okay, moving away from the fear mongers. Yes, absolutely, Samantha. There's enough that is real that's, you know, causing us to be saucer-eyed, that we don't need to listen to the political fear mongers as well. Okay, yes, I mean, decks, different decks. I see the discussion about the Hush and the Heindel. Horses for courses. That's why there's thousands of them. I heard of somebody, when was it, a couple weeks ago, that has 4,000 decks or something. I'm like, oh, I didn't want to know that. Okay. What's an earth harp, Samantha? What is an earth harp, darling? I want to know. I do. My son did not get my message. I need water. Well, that's okay, because we're about at 2 hours, so I'm going to be wrapping it up anyway. So lots of earth messages tonight. Again, my guides, thank you for the consistency, for, you know, hammering home that 5 of Pentacles message of, yes, there is strife. It's validation for us. You know, it's not validating to ignore what's happening and to say, you know, oh, it'll go. We have to accept where we are if we're going to be able to move forward from it. We've got to get our feet on the ground, which means we acknowledge, you know, sometimes the ground is rocky that we're standing on. And we move forward carefully depending on, you know, the foundation, depending on the ground that we're standing on. So, okay, good. I'm glad, Samantha. Well, being a Taurian woman, I mean, these were the Taurus decks that came out. So I love my collection. I really, really do. And the books that I'm getting rid of are going to allow me to rearrange my shelves here, because the section where my oracle decks are is like full. I don't have room to put any more. So I'm going to take all my language books out and have a whole new shelf to expand my oracle, the oracle's part of the collection, which means that I will have empty shelf space. And you know what that means? That means I need more decks. So if you would like a personal reading and there's a deck that maybe you have that you think I would love, see if it's on my Amazon wish list. There's a link below. And buy me that deck and send me your question, and I will read for you on my video. If you really, I don't schedule personal readings anymore. If you really, 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 really have a need, DM me on Facebook. There's a link below to my Facebook. And by all means, hit like. Oh, I see a whole bunch of you have. Yay. And subscribe and do the bell notification thingy so you know when I drop content. Things are starting to pick up for me energetically, so who knows what's coming. I'm not going to make any promises. I've learned that lesson. But I sure enjoy these Wednesday nights. Next week, my sister and my niece are coming with my niece's 2 babies. One of whom is freshly 2 years old. His name is Judah Pax, and he is a brilliant, brilliant, bright little light. And the newest one is Clara Hart, and she is, let's see, she was born January 12th, I think it was, March, April. She's 3 months. She will be 4 months in May. So she's like at the best baby place where she's settled in and she's got cheeks for days. And I actually get to hold this baby when she's a baby, because Judah Pax was born on March 27th, 2020. So he was pandemic baby. You know, the panic of the pandemic first starting is when my niece gave birth to her first baby. And then her second baby was also a pandemic baby. So my niece has had her whole family over the pandemic. Just incredible. But I get baby time. I get to hold babies and kiss babies and smell right here, smell the back of the neck, because that's the best. So Wednesday night, we'll see what happens. I really do want to do my live stream with my sister here. So you can expect to see me unless things go completely haywire, and I'll let you know. But I intend to be here. Yes, Clara. And Hart, which is, you know, a family name. And Pax is a family name too. And they're just such sweet babies. So I'm looking forward to a really great visit next week. All right, you guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to this night every single week. And we'll see what decks shove themselves into my mind for next week. In the meantime, share my stuff. I'm you know, pushing. I want to up my subscribership, because then that motivates me to do new and wonderful things with content. But I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate your engagement and your comments, and just hanging out and helping me play with my collection and have fun. I will see you the next time. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Ground and enjoy the seasons that are unfolding for us. All right, you guys, I love you. Blessed be. See you next time.